My question is to the Minister for Education and Training. Will the Minister update the House on the results of the recent round of NAPLAN testing? What action is the government taking to ensure our children receive the education they need for well into the future?
I call the Minister for Education and Training.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Lindsay for her question, and I know that she, like all members of this side of the House, is deeply concerned to ensure that quality education leads to good outcomes for Australian students. And I can report that in the last week the NAPLAN results for 2015 have been publicly released, and they show that Year 3 results are improving slightly, Year 9 results are declining slightly, but across the board there is stagnation over the last 8 years in terms of the results of our students. And on this side of the House we don't regard that as good enough, Mr Speaker. We believe that much needs to be done to improve the outcomes for students, and that's why we have a 4 pillars policy to change the outcome for Australian students. It consists of reforming the national curriculum from the 1st of January next year, to declutter the curriculum, to make it more robust and rigorous, to extend our students more, agreed to by all the states and territories and the Australian Curriculum and Reporting Authority. We are reforming teacher quality in Australia by forcing all institutions across Australia to be re-accredited to train teachers, so that we can put in place the structures necessary to have high-quality teachers being produced by our institutions, which will change the entire system of teaching in Australia. We are introducing more school autonomy. Every state and territory jurisdiction has signed up to the government's independent public school model at a cost of $70 million, because research shows the more autonomy in a school, the better the outcomes for students. And we will be very soon announcing policies around parental engagement, which will fill the 4th of our pillars. On the other hand, Mr Speaker, the opposition is a policy-free zone on this matter. At their national conference, they failed to commit to extra funding for schools from 2018 onwards, unlike this government that put $1.2 billion back into school education that Labor ripped out, the opposition ripped out. Unlike the Labor Party, we got all the states and territories to agree to the national school funding model, so that we delivered a national school funding model that goes up every year, 8%, 8%, 6% and 4% over the next 4 years. Labor has failed to commit to school funding increases into the future, and as well as that, they are a policy-free zone on the other things that matter: teacher quality, school autonomy, parental engagement and the curriculum. They are a policy-free zone, whereas this side of the House is engaging the whole of the sector in reform that will address all aspects of bringing better outcomes for students, certainly including funding, but more importantly addressing the core issues in school education.
The Prime Minister.